I'm Dr. Michelle Cohen, licensed psychologist and relationship expert. On behalf of expertvillage.com, I'd like to welcome you to the series on creating successful relationships. In my private practice office, in clinical and hospital settings, as well as radio and television, I've helped families, couples, and individuals with their relationship problems for over 12 years. And I found that there are proven successful ways of communicating and behaving that can truly help relationships. So throughout this series, we're going to be taking a look at the basics, understanding body language and how to interpret others. We're also going to look at the differences between how men and women communicate. We'll also check out what things not to say to get yourself in trouble, and also just understanding how to make better relationships. The first impression we have of other people is through their body language. It's a very primitive way of communicating, and we're always sending nonverbal signals. So whether we're in a romantic relationship, friendship, other social relationships, or business relationships, we always want to project the best we can. It's also really great to pick up what other people are doing and saying to us. Now, this is not a fine science. In other words, you can't say someone's crossing their arms and they must be angry or they must be closed. You always have to look at the situation that things are occurring in, so you need to interpret that as well. But if I can give you certain cues with the use of my actors on how not to behave and how to behave in certain situations, we can really help you communicate better and understand body language. Sometimes one of the body language behaviors you do not want to exhibit are what I call closed body behaviors, especially if you're going on a job interview or if you're trying to impress someone. Closed body behaviors mean many things. Sometimes it means you're just really uncomfortable with that person you're with, or you don't like them. They also mean that you lack self-esteem in yourself, so you're a bit uncomfortable with who you are, and you don't want that person to know too much about you. They can be misinterpreted, though, sometimes. Sometimes someone is just cold in a room. So again, you have to take into account the situation and the environment, what's going on in that particular social situation. So if someone is doing this, they might just be cold. As Natalie and Josh are showing you, closed behaviors can appear in many ways. Now, sometimes we use closure to place barriers in front of our bodies. As you see, Natalie has her arms crossed. Her legs are crossed away from Josh as well. Primitively, this is to defend ourselves from attack, but in this day and age, there are many reasons why we do this kind of body behavior. Also, we may tuck our chins downward. We may hunch ourselves, reducing the size of our target. We may, like I said, protect ourselves by folding our arms, crossing our legs away. We also may shift our head back from the other person and not really look at them directly. Josh is trying to get some kind of communication going here with Natalie. He's trying to communicate that to her, but she's showing them that she's not really interested. She's averting her glance from him. She's closed up. She's uncomfortable, she's shaking her leg a little bit. Many times people do this to comfort themselves when they're uncomfortable with the person they're with. Keep in mind also that closed body behaviors sometimes mean that that individual is not comfortable with themselves. So don't assume when someone is exhibiting the closed body behavior that they're not comfortable with you. Many times they're not okay with who they are. So don't go negative on them and assume that. If they're closing up, they may have low self-esteem. On the other hand, people exhibit what I call open body behaviors. And obviously, this is just the opposite of what we just saw. So in this particular example, what we're showing is how you want to be open and let others be comfortable with you. You're showing them that you're okay and comfortable with them as well. So if you're on a job interview or a relationship, say a first date, you're trying to make a good impression, whatever social interaction you're having, you want to be open to that person. As Natalie will show you with Josh, the person who is attentive is first of all listening to someone. They're ignoring distractions. They're getting direct eye contact. Also, as you can see, Natalie is very still. And the implication here is of forgetting everything else except the other person in the room. No distractions. And also, as Natalie shows you, someone who is interested in you will likely lean towards you slightly. Sometimes they'll tilt their head slightly forward, or they'll nod, meaning that they're really into what you're saying. It also may show curiosity when tilted to the side. An attentive person also looks at the other person without taking their gaze away. They blink less as well. As you can see, all of the behavior that Natalie is showing is open body behaviors. Again, her legs are not crossed as well, but her legs are pointing towards Josh, and her arm again leaning on the chair towards Josh. Along with the open behaviors that we just showed you, there are also speech tools you can use, and these are no-brainers, as I call them, but you can let the other person know you're open to them by nodding your head, as Natalie showed you, but also saying things like, uh-huh, uh-huh, that's open. And also what I do with clients sometimes is I reflect to them back what they're saying. And what that does is it shows them that you're really listening to what they have to say and you're open to them. So if someone is telling me something, what I do is reflect back and I say, so what I'm getting from you or what you're telling me is that you really would like to go see this man a little bit later and clear things up with him. Is that what you're telling me? So that's reflecting back and letting the other person know exactly what you're feeling. There's another type of body behavior which I call defensive body behaviors. Now these are a little different from controlling or fearful or closed body behaviors because you're trying to defend yourself, not against someone who's going to attack you necessarily, but there might be a lot of internal dialogue going on that you feel you need to protect. So you're defending that. Someone may be a little too aggressive with you, but in this case, you're going to be using subtle barriers to protect yourself. And you can really see this when people are doing this. So watch for some of these cues as actors Mark and Josh demonstrate. Josh and Mark are now going to demonstrate for you what I call defensive body movements. And as you can see, sometimes the chin is held down. Josh is trying to defend himself against judgment. There's something going on internally, and he's kind of going into a little bit of a round position. Sometimes people flick their eyes from side to side. It shows that the person is looking for a way out. That's the definition of defense sometimes. Also, as you can see, Josh is crossing his legs away from Mark. The body is going away. Arms may be held across the chest. Any physical object also may be placed in front of the person to act as a literal or figurative barrier. It can be as small as a pen. It can be as large as a table, or as you can see, Josh has a book in front of him. He's huddling into a smaller position, keeping his arms and legs in. He's tensing up, and he's rather rigid as well. So these are all signs of defensive body movements. You may not want to exhibit the body behavior of fear, and fear can be shown in many different ways, from mild fear to sudden or sheer terror. Some people close up. They do all sorts of behaviors because subconsciously they're really fearful in a situation. So again, if you're on an important job interview or meeting someone or trying to make a really good impression for the first time and you are uncomfortable, watch for these signs that you may be projecting. As actor Mark will show you, many of the bodily changes caused by fear make it really easy to detect. If you watch for things like dry mouth, it may be indicated by licking the lips. If someone's with you and they're constantly drinking water, and you'll see this a lot of times in courtrooms, when people are on the stand, they always provide water. They're constantly taking drinks of water because they're really scared, they're fearful. Also, rubbing of the throat, it's kind of a message that I can hardly breathe, I'm so scared. Of course, when you're with someone else, sometimes you don't look at that other person. You may have a trembling lip, varying speech tone. Sweating is another really important cue you can pick up from people. They're frequently wiping themselves because they are sweating, or they may not be, but they're really hot and uncomfortable, which, of course, is a physical symptom of feeling really fearful. Also, tension in the muscles. You may have clenched hands or arms, jerky movements, legs wrapped around things. You may find legs wrapped around table chairs or your chair that you're sitting in. Gasping and holding breath is another biggie. Someone who's trying to get breath or breathing deeply shows that they're trying to take control of their fear. Fidgeting is another big one, of course. And as I said, drawing in of the limbs, crossing of the legs and arms, that means they're protecting themselves. They are showing fear, anxiety, and nervousness, as Mark is exhibiting. There's another kind of body language that's very important to remember, especially if you're in interviews or trying to make a good impression on someone. It's called relaxed and confident body language. And as in the word relaxed, you're going to show that you are relaxed. You're not going to be slouching, as in boredom or sleepiness. You're going to be sitting up straight, but you're relaxed. Usually your legs are not crossed. You can have maybe your ankles crossed behind you. Open gestures are great, like we discussed a little bit earlier. You have your hand maybe on the side of the chair or on your leg, but you're relaxed. You're looking at that person, and movements are always slow when you're relaxed. Eye contact is really important, not glaring at someone, just keeping your eyes straight at them. Gentle smiles are also really important. Nodding slowly, and also when you're trying to express relaxed body, you use your hands like this gently. You never use this, you never use this. It's always, as a matter of fact. So you're nodding your head sometimes, you're looking directly at the person, your body is open, it's relaxed. And again, you can use these in job interviews, when you're meeting someone for the first time, any kind of new social situation, or on a blind date, when you're really trying to make a good impression and you're trying to say, I'm not a nervous person, I'm not uncomfortable. These are things you can do if you are feeling that way. So we were just talking about relaxed body behaviors, and I was mentioning some of the facial gestures you can do, but now focusing completely on the face, if you really want to look relaxed in an interview or a social situation of any kind, as I mentioned, it's great to keep kind of looking at the person, not glaring at them, but keep your eyes open, don't squint. Remember, anything that shows tension is the opposite of relaxation, so you don't want to clench your teeth. You may want to nod your head slightly. It's always great to keep some kind of a smile, and if it's a real genuine smile, that would help as well, because a fake smile indicates discomfort or nervousness. So a slight relaxed smile. Also, if you don't have bangs over your head, your forehead may also indicate that you're nervous, so relax your forehead and relax your face, smile, tilt your head gently. Do slow down your speech sometimes to where it sounds normal, of course. And a really good trick to helping yourself relax, and this is especially going to show up in the face, is to breathe. This is one of the easiest tools you can do very quickly before going into an interview or a social situation. And what I always have my clients do is take time, sit down, breathe in through the nose all the way up, hold it for a few seconds, and then breathe out through the nose, or through the mouth rather, very slowly. All the way out. Do this about 3 times, in and out very slowly. This will kind of relax the body and the face, and then it'll prepare you to go into a social situation appearing more relaxed. Another body movement is what I call readiness body language. And this is really important to note, especially if you are in business, if you're a salesperson and you're working with customers. You need to understand that someone is ready to buy. They're getting more excited, and they're indicating that to you with a readiness type of body language. It's really important in business. It can also mean sometimes that someone wants to leave or is getting up and getting ready to go. So in this particular clip, we're showing you actors Mark, David, and Natalie. David and Natalie do need to get going, so they are indicating the subtle body behaviors of readiness to Mark. As David and Natalie are showing you right now, they need to get going for their evening. And Mark is standing there trying to still get their attention and keep them. But both of their body actions are indicating that they're pointing where they need to go, towards the door. This may be as subtle as a foot pointing towards the door, or as obvious as the whole body leaning out. The eyes also are flashing over in the intended direction. They want to get out of there. The body is tensed up and ready for action to leave. Is sitting, the hands may hold on to armrests in readiness to get up. The legs are tensed, ready to lift the body. Things in the hand are gripped. As you can see, Natalie has grabbed her purse. This is really indicating to the other person that they want to go somewhere, that they are ready. That's called readiness. And again, it can be used in business. You can see someone's getting excited about an action that they want to take and go forward. So right now, as you can see, they've decided to get up and go forward, and they've grabbed everything, and they're in that intended direction of the door.